Welcome to the summer rewind of the Game Recognized Game podcast with RLJ and Kev, where we are rewinding back to some of our favorite moments from our previous seasons. Let's get it.
One of my oldest and dearest friends, and for all of the village that says, yo, I know I said you can't have like a platonic friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, she is like truly one of my dopest friends, period. But she is one of the very, very few women in my life that I call friend, and I love her so much. Village, welcome back to the Game Recognized Game podcast, Miss Shantae Christian.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, with an intro like that, what can I say? What can I say other than thank you? Thank you for just allowing me to be a part of this journey with you all, because without you, I wouldn't have been able to even just create and start my own podcast, which is My Best Shift. No, shameless plug. And I just, being in the space of being able to create opportunities for people and just to stay connected, right? Because Kevin, one of your cousins, is my engineer for the podcast, and I just believe in just keeping us as close as possible together. You know, it's not that many Black people that went to Mason when we were there. So I'm just truly thankful and grateful for that. As Kevin mentioned, I am a two-time international best-selling Amazon author. I mean, just
tell it like it is, man.
Just two.
Let's go.
Just two. Chapter 7 in both books, they are on digital, hard copy, softback, you name it, you can go get it. And all of the proceeds go to charity. So one of the dopest things about being a part of both of those projects is that none of us walked away with any coins. We gave them all away to the people. So that's something that's always near and dear to my heart. So yeah, but thank you for bringing me.
That's what's up. Welcome. So, like, how has everybody been? We are nearing the end of 2021. Compared to 2020, 2021 flew by. But you know, we look at the news, 2021 was like, I ain't done yet. So we got some things happening, but beyond everything that's happening all around us, how are you? What's happening within us, and how are you making it? How are you managing self-care, all that good stuff? Wellness check. That's what we're doing. Wellness check.
Hey, Brother Jay, man, you know, you hear it from me every week. I'm just taking it one day at a time, like a 12-step program.
Okay.
That's all I can really do, man. I'm learning to manage my expectations. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning about boundaries. I'm learning more so about myself as far as like my tolerance level. Like, what's the real fine line of my tolerance level of bullshit? You know what I mean? And I'm learning my limits, because my limits were tested in 20 and 21. But you know what? I kind of just threw caution to the wind this fall, man, and said, you know what? What's be is gonna be, man. I got my third microchip, the version 3, pumped into my arm today. So hey, man, I'm ready to really be outside, man. really be outside. So other than that, I'm dope, man. I'm dope.
That's what's up.
I'll never be able to walk through TSA ever again.
I'm gonna start glowing green. You know, 2020 for me was a little different, because I said, okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity and I'm putting my foot all the way down to the metal, and I'm going hardcore. And in 2020, like, I really went in on the unspoken truths, started writing a book and preparing for 2021. And then 2021 came, and I thought it was a good idea to continue at that same pace. And then finally, when I said, you know, no more to corporate in the way that I was operating in it, I was like, I'm tired. Like, I want to just nap. And I had to get really okay with the fact of people being like, oh my God, you're not doing anything. I'm like, I've been working kind of like around the clock, sleeping for 2 hours a day type of working. And I'm like, you don't understand that. You didn't see that. Like, just get me to where I'm at. And so I had to get okay with being okay with taking a break, right? And like, and not feeling guilty or feeling shamed by other people's perception of what they think I should be or shouldn't have been doing. And so that's something that really resonated with me in 2021, especially the latter part, and going into 22, just given, you know, it is what it is.
I think that's a good place for all of us to be in, right? It is what it is. There's a limit to the things we can't control. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, whether I'm there or not. And I remember my grandmother once said, "Tomorrow's still gonna be tomorrow, whether I'm here to see it or not." And I didn't really understand it at that tender age that she gave it to me, but now hindsight, like, you're right. The sun is still gonna shine whether I'm here or not, right? And
regardless,
so,
right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow gonna be Friday. God, as old folks say, God willing, and the creek don't rise. But things keep moving, and I think when we don't allow ourselves to get boggled down by things that we can't control, because we get lost in the control, and I think when we release the desire to control things that are outside of our control, like, we can breathe a lot easier.
Hey man, you gotta take that breath too, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
because you'll forget to breathe.
yeah, because
You will legitimately forget to breathe.
because we've been running in autopilot.
Yeah.
And autopilot, like, you don't really remember to breathe on a normal basis, but sometimes you have to stop and actually, right? Just I catch myself doing that often now. Like, in the middle of a conversation, right before I cuss somebody out, I'm just like,
That's the pause, man.
There's power in the pause.
There's power in the pause.
Right? And so,
and you know what it reminds me of, though? Like, so one of my grandmothers used to say, life is for the living. And so if you're not living, you're not breathing, and you're not continuing to be in space. And so it's something I keep saying. It's like, life is for the living. So I got to live my life, because if I don't, whose life am I living?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. So for tonight's conversation, and that was a good segue, some lessons that we've learned in our past, right? From some of our amazing teachers in our individual life's journey. What, as we are approaching 2021, and 2022, sorry, as we are approaching the close of 2021, this is the time where people start to make plans or preparation for a new year. Some people look at the resolution, like, what do I want to do? Some people think about one thing that they want to focus on and let that be the theme throughout the year. But as we close out the year and we prepare to meet the destiny of a new one, what are some things or some lessons that you feel that, one, either you need to unlearn, or that you feel people in general need to unlearn? And you can say people like the world, you can say people as in your village, your circle, you can say people as in your community, whatever you see, just like, what are some lessons that need to be unlearned? I know that was a heavy one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just come out the gate with it, right? You don't even warm it up.
I thought that was the warm up.
It's all
Nope.
good. It's all good. I see what you did there. Honestly, man, for real, I would say to go back to the top of the question when you were talking about how we want to close out the year. A lot of the same things that I worked on this year, I'm continuing that on into 2022, because I've made progress, but it's not a finite destination. It hasn't been fulfilled yet. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that's something that it was kind of a build up the tolerance and the patience and the necessary discipline and cadence to say, all right, well, if this is a goal, the goal likely will be difficult to achieve because it's something that you really, really want. And timing and barriers and challenges may pop up along that journey this year, and you failed and stumble, but at the same time, you still make progress. And so that's something that I guess I need to unlearn. And I think a lot of people have to unlearn is to, it's okay to give yourself some grace and to give yourself some credit as far as your accomplishments. You know, the no perfect, no organization, no successful business organization, successful people in mind in general, right? They're never the apex of success when they start out, like ever. I mean, it's unrealistic. And so I think most people put that level of pressure and expectation on themselves, though. I mean, you know, Michael Jordan lost to the Pistons. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, why am I any different? And so it's really about progress. But I think people need to kind of unlearn, you know, this kind of hold we want to have on ourselves. Well, man, you had a resolution, a goal in mind at the top of the year. December comes around, it's not done. So what? Do you just say forget it? You scrap it? Do you create a new goal, a new destination? Do you move the goalpost on yourself, which isn't fair, right? Or do you kind of stay the course? And it's something, Brother Jay, that we constantly say, slow motion is still motion. And sometimes the motion may not necessarily be as slow as you think it is. It's just not hyper, it's not moving at that hyper speed and kind of this pace of instant gratification that we are looking for.
Yeah.
And so for me, man, I think one of the pieces this year that I'm going to kind of just, I'm comfortable at the speed that I'm going. I'm comfortable in the lane that I'm in. Mm-hmm. I'm comfortable with the mode of transportation to get from point A to point B. And so I'm just going to ride it out because I know I'm not at my destination. It is something a mentor told me recently, actually. And he was talking about successful businesses. And he says, you know, any business, any product, if you're the best, you're never going to be satisfied with the best. You have to be in a perpetual state of beta testing. Everything is a beta test. And so if that's how success works, then how is it that I'm any different? That I can avoid the scrapes, the scars, the bruises, the bumps, the challenges, the barriers, and, you know, get through this process unscathed. It doesn't work that way. It hurts, but it's not realistic. So I think that's something that I need to just unlearn and give myself more credit. But a lesson that I did learn in 2020 taught me that was like, yo, this thing ain't over until it's over.
Yes, sir.
And so you gotta prepare for the marathon. Yeah, man.
I think, you know, one of the things that, Kevin, when you were talking was triggering for me is this space of one comparison, right? So, so many people compare, like when you talked about Michael Jordan, right? At the top of his career, and they just started playing ball and they want to already be like Michael Jordan. Well, how much time and practice did he get to get there? You know what I mean? And so it's like, give yourself the wins when you are there and in the trenches, because he was there and in the trenches, and you have to go put in the work behind it to be able to see your wins, right? And to be able to get to that level to say, damn, I made it. But when you comparing your A to his Z, it's going to always look unkiltered. And I think that, you know, when we talk about lessons to unlearn, I really want people to unlearn that, whatever that comparison is, that and then there's also walks along with perfectionism. Like, people have this negative idea of perfectionism, and something that I tell my clients all the time is, regardless of your faith, there's this person that allegedly walked the earth that was the only perfect person, and unless you are that person by the name of Jesus, then how do you expect to be perfect? You could do some things to get you really close to it, but how is perfectionism serving you? And if it's helping you get to your goal, then what you complaining about?
I would say for me, off the top of my head, I would say there's a few things that I've identified that I need to personally unlearn, or that I have unlearned, or I'm still in the process of unlearning. And I would say one of the major ones is the grind don't stop. That's something that I had to meet face to face and was like, nope, the grind doesn't stop, but I do. And stopping is never the finale. You stop to You stop at a gas station when you run out of fuel. You stop to get food at a drive-through or a grocery store when there's things that you're in need of. And I recognize, Kevin and I talk about this all the time. I recognized in the middle of 2021 that I was tired. Like, I was mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally exhausted. And so I stopped. What did I stop? I stopped everything. I disappeared. I stopped answering phone calls. I stopped communicating on social media. I stopped entertaining foolish conversation. Anything that was taken away from me resting, I stopped. And I recognized that there was things that I was working on that I wanted to get finished by a certain time. I heard it in my voice, like, whenever you continue, the work will be there. And a delay is not a denial. So, right? So, like, it's okay to stop. And that's what I did.
But
Like,
Brother Jay, that's the crazy part, though. Every game has a halftime.
oh, yes. And there's timeouts.
Every game
for a
has an
reason.
intermission.
Yeah, and that's
yeah, they're timeouts for a reason.
But I
They're
think
full timeouts, short timeouts.
We've been classically conditioned to think that we have to keep going until the whistle blows.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, nigga, I was tired. Like, I didn't even want to talk to people. Like, my therapist hit me up and I was like, hey, play, I'm gonna have to hit you back later. Like, she was like, I was just wondering, you canceled the last 2 sessions. I was like, I don't have the bandwidth to form complete sentences. Nigga was tired, exhausted, right? And I stopped showing up to stuff. I stopped answering the phone. Like, I would decide what I wanted to respond to. And I recognized that, no, the grind doesn't stop, but there comes a time where I have to, if I want to be able to grind even more, right? And so that's one thing that I'm still unlearning. I'm still unlearning because I used to constantly be busy. And whenever I had an opening in my calendar, it meant I wasn't doing enough. So I put something on my calendar. But no, now I am appreciating the rest. I'm telling people no, and the grind doesn't stop. You're right. But someone has to come in like that. I need a pitch hitter, right? I don't have a pitch hitter. Can't nobody do the dreams or the visions that were given to me because they weren't given to them, right? And even if I tell you what I need done, you're not going to do it the way it was downloaded to me. So pressing pause, knowing that there's power in the pause, and to remove other people's time clock on my personal journey. This is what you got to do. All
That's
that
powerful.
I had to stop, bro. Like, because I literally felt like I was losing control of the things that I could control, like my sanity. Patience, I didn't have it for anybody, not even children. And, you know, Brother Jay love the kids. I didn't want to see anybody.
I love the kids.
Right. I love the kids, right? I didn't have it in me. And so recognizing that the grind don't stop. Another one that I had to unlearn is that be kind to everyone. And you're probably like, why wouldn't you be kind to everyone? Because everyone really doesn't deserve your kindness. Now hear me when I say to not be kind to everyone. That doesn't mean being ass to others, right? That just means everyone's not deserving of your energy. And so I was thinking of an interaction that I had in the grocery store. If you follow me on Facebook, you know about my Walmart Chronicles.
Why are you going to Walmart? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
It's convenient, right? Target's too far, and I don't have the time, right? I told you I was tired. Would you want me to drive extra?
Man,
They
you're a better man than me,
deliver,
man.
Target's
I'm
too far for
still
delivery.
scarred.
Target won't deliver to me. I'm too far.
Still scarred at Walmart, man. 3 times a year.
Listen,
That's it.
in the middle of a pandemic, you had to get it how you live it, right? So, so here I am, right? And a woman, I could tell she was having a bad day, but I also was having a bad day, and I was like, this is not going to end well if 2 bad days combined in aisle 8. So I had to make the conscious decision. You know, as a child, I was taught, you know, if someone does something, you turn the other cheek, right? 2 wrongs don't make a right. But I was like, I've grown up, and I've learned that 2 negatives multiplied by one another equal a positive, right? And so when you understand that yes, people are dealing with their own individual things. That doesn't mean that I have to be kind to you if I don't want to. This lesson was taught to me by a little girl in the mall one day. And so she was with her mom, and somebody came up and talked to her mother, and she was like, why aren't you speaking to her? And the little girl looked at the woman up and down, and I was like, we would have been friends as kids. And she just refused to speak. And so the mother apologized, and she said, after she walked away, she was like, well, what was wrong there? Like, why didn't you speak? You're supposed to be nice to people. She was like, I didn't feel like I should have been nice to her. She was like, she was saying mean things, and I didn't like it. So therefore I wasn't going to speak to her. And in that moment, I was like, I don't really have to be kind to people. I can just refuse to give my energy away. And so that's what I'm doing, right? I am recognizing that everybody doesn't deserve the energy that I'm about to give. And this goes even deeper. This is probably another lesson. This might be a whole nother session. So stop me if I get too far in. I think back to family interactions. And as a kid, we don't really get the option of whether we want to like or engage with our family. Like, we are taught and we're told how to interact with our family. There's individuals that I have seen take advantage of the family pass to mistreat and be disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And you know, as a kid, I would see this and I'm wondering, like, why are we still being nice to this individual? Like, they just blatantly disrespected and did, like, should have got punched in their face when they said whatever they said, but yet you still inviting them over to places. That was troubling for me as a kid. And now as an adult, like, I don't have to deal with that. Like, you're rude, you're disrespectful. Just because your family doesn't mean I like you. Right? And just because your family doesn't mean that I have to interact with you. Family's the only reason I ain't punched you in your face, but that doesn't mean that I have to let you in my space. Right? And so I decline invitations all the time. Sometimes I don't even respond, family or not, because I know that somebody's about to catch these hands, because I still haven't forgot the last time you got disrespectful.
Ron, I have gotten so much heat for not going to family reunions.
Kev, what we call that? Social obligation. I don't have those.
Social obligation, man.
I don't have those. I don't. And so how did you navigate that conversation?
Yeah, like did you just go dark? Obviously, I just would have went dark, checked out.
Well, we were in person. This literally just happened. My mom's side has a family reunion every year for 3 days on Labor Day weekend. I think it's rude that we got to go to the Eastern Shore of Virginia, which a lot of people probably don't even know where that's at, but it's in the middle of nowhere. And so we got to go there every year for 3 days on Labor Day weekend. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to. And so I said, when my grandmother passed, I was not going to any more family reunions. Well, they must didn't hear me. They must didn't hear me because I was only going for her.
The mic wasn't on. They didn't hear you.
And so I didn't go last year because of the pandemic. Like, you know, it was really like, I don't know how y'all living. I don't know. Then this year I was like, nah, I'm going to go to Cabo instead. Like, I don't want to go.
Hey, man, that's a fair trade-off.
I see what
for
you
real.
did there.
Cabo over cousins. I love it. I love it. That's a t-shirt. You get that at a gang recognized game shop.
And so we were at one of my cousin who typically does my hair for the promos, Rob Folks. He's, you know, doing people on TV hair and all the good stuff. But we were at his baby shower, and one of my cousins was like, so why you didn't come to the family reunion? I was like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. Like, you still holding on to that? Let that go. And we were around like a bunch of other cousins, and I was like, what do I do? And I told her, I said, look, I love you all. Really, I do. However, I choose not to come to family reunion every year, Labor Day weekend, because I don't want to. I only did it, even as a kid, because I had to. And because grandma was there. And as I got older, when I got to college, she would guilt me. And then when I got a job, she would guilt me even more. And I was like, look, lady, I'm coming for you, but I'm coming every other year, even when she was alive. And so And it wasn't, and I had to explain to the group, because then it was like, well, why are you not coming? And it was like, it's not that I don't love you and I don't like spending time with you all. It's too much for me. It's too much time with a bunch of people. I'm an only child. I think they forget that because the family is so big. I'm used to being and walking solo. And all of them always asking me, why you not married? What you doing? Where you living? Why you not doing and doing? I don't have the mental capacity to survive that for 3 days straight, all day, all night long, staying in cabins with them. It just doesn't bring me joy. And I stopped doing
the tradition is you in front of a firing squad.
Yeah.
Who wants that tradition?
Hot seat.
Nobody. And I'm like, I stopped doing shit that stopped serving me a long time ago.
Come on, that's
and
good.
This is one of those things.
On your Labor Day weekend? Labor Day weekend? And you getting an inquisition? Oh, come on, man.
Plus the Monday.
And then I'm always trying to explain to a cousin who's really more like an uncle that I'm not a lawyer. I'm like, who told you I went to law school? Like, what are we talking about?
And why are you still doing illegal stuff, right?
Continue listening to the Miseducation of Life and Tradition. Check out Season 4, Episode 13 of the Game Recognized Game podcast with RLJ and Kev. Available on all streaming platforms. Stay cool and be light.